So destroy anger and pride. We all do get angry, but anger is very, very destructive, right? Anger is very, very destructive. When you get angry, I got a message, sorry. When you get angry, let me put this off. Yeah, when you get angry, you become mad. A pagal ho jata hai. So nobody wants to become mad, right? When you get angry, you become ugly. You want to become ugly? When you get angry, your blood pressure increases. When you get angry, you can't sleep properly. है ना, आपको अनुभव है ना? You all have this experience. So therefore, as much as possible, don't get angry. Not to get angry doesn't mean you can't be tough. In life, sometimes you have to be tough. लेकिन गुस्से से नहीं. If you get angry and then with anger, if you try to become tough, it will not work, because whatever you say, whatever you do, thing will be mad, out of madness. Without getting angry, if you remain calm and tough and then say the right thing, then even if you go to the court, you will win. Otherwise, you will lose. Even if you have to fight an enemy, you should fight with a calm mind. Yeah, na? Okay, we will not spend much time there. Destroy anger and pride or arrogance. Confidence is important. Arrogance is not good. Pride is not good. Pride goeth before a fall, जैसे कि मैंने कल बताया था. Right? Some people by nature are very proud. I've seen many people, you've also seen many people, right? Some are by nature very proud. Not to be proud does not mean that you should not have confidence. Confidence होना चाहिए. For doing good things, for standing up for justice, for right thing, you should be tough. But without pride and arrogance. Very important. And equipped with the mind of humility. I already spoke about humility. Where the grass grows on the top of mountain, down in the valley, I explained. Because if you become humble, you become receptive, open. Okay? Give up wrong livelihood, including corruption. Wrong livelihood means we all need to work for our livelihood, but the way and the means to earn livelihood should not be the wrong livelihood. Wrong livelihood means किसी को मस्का मार के, है ना? सर अब कितना अच्छा है, सब अब तो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, सब ये है वो है करके उसे कुछ दूध निकलना है, इसलिए बोलते हैं ना हम लोग, चमचगिरी बोलते हैं ना, चमचगिरी करके, है ना? Flattering. By flattering somebody, if you get something, that is wrong livelihood. बहुत तरीका है इसमें. For example, if you give me a nice pen last year, so this year also I want to get the same pen from you. So for that I'll say, the pen you gave me last year was so good. I never got a pen like this. From where can I get one? Now I'm teaching a little bit superior, you're listening almost like students, so you'll say, sir, I will get it for you. Using your power, you're using your post. If you take things from other, that is also wrong livelihood. That is called taking things forcibly. That's also wrong livelihood. And also now, because I am wearing this monk, the monk's cloth, so because of lack of knowledge, you must be thinking, oh, he must have some special realization. Clairvoyance भी होगा शायद, telepathy भी होगा शायद, हो सकता है ना, ऐसे सोच सकता है ना आप लोग. तो मैं भी दिखावट करके मेरे पास ये गुण है, नए गुण है, सब आपको नहीं बता सकता, ये है, मैं फ्लाई भी कर सकता है, मैं आपका मन भी रीड कर सकता है, ऐसे झूठ मूठ बोल के, बोलने से hypocrisy. With that, if I earn money, that's also wrong livelihood. And then in order to get a better thing from you, I give something which is less costly. छोटे चीज़ दे करके बड़ा अभी मैं मिठाई दिया था ना, आपसे थोड़ा मैं उम्मीद है, bara milne ka. Really, if you do like that, that is also wrong livelihood. Then corruption, bribery, of course, so many things. It's not good at all. So give up wrong livelihood and nourish by the livelihood of Dharma. The real livelihood is the inner qualities. Dharma is Hindi word. Dharma means dharan kare to dharma. So dharma means law of nature. Living in accordance with the law of nature. Living in accordance with the law of nature means the law of nature is such that we are all interconnected. Law of nature is such that we are all transient, impermanent. ये law of nature है ना, बुद्ध भगवान ने थोड़ी बनाया है, हाँ, हम लोगों ने इसको law of nature को नजरअंदाज कर रहा है हम लोग, इसलिए we are suffering. So, and nourish. So dharma also means the spiritual path that leads to liberation. Liberation is also dharma. Buddhahood is also dharma, and the path which takes to it, like morality, concentration, wisdom, these are dharma. ये होना चाहिए आपके, क्योंकि this inner qualities, if you have nourished yourself by this inner dharma, this inner qualities that you develop, thieves cannot steal it, robbers cannot rob it. Right? Other than the inner qualities, the material objects that you have, चोरी हो जाता है, गुम जाता है. कहाँ हम रखा मोबाइल फोन हमने कहाँ रखा मुझे पता नहीं, गुम जाता है ना? So they are not unique, but they are not reliable, है ना? So educate yourself. That's what he's saying. And the next one says, give up all material objects or material clutter. Sometimes I use the word clutter. Clutter means, in Tibetan word is sangsing, which means material things are called objects that will create commotion. ये चहल पहल जो है ना, ये सब ये material things बनाता है. झगड़ा करना, लड़ना, चोरी करना, डाका करना, झूठ बोलना, ये सब because of the material things. So you need material things, but too much is not good for you. Right? So give up. Give up means reduce your attachment, desire, greed towards material objects. You need certain thing for you to live, to eat, things like that. The rest are, there is one Buddhist text which says, which makes a comparative study between the Naga king and the ordinary Naga. Naga basically means snake. So it is said that the Naga king has 5 heads, right? The ordinary snake only 1 head. So the one which has 5 heads, for looking it looks majestic and good, right? But the problem is because the more head you have, the more one of these is susceptible to hurt. जिसके पास सिर्फ एक ही सिर है, ज़्यादा problem नहीं है. So if you have a lot of like 10 brothers, 20 sisters, looks good ordinarily. हाँ मेरे पास इतना भाई है, लेकिन क्या मिलेगा उधर से? आज ये today this brother is okay, sister is sick. Brother is doing good business, somebody died. जितना जो बाहर का चीज़ है, the external things, material objects, relatives, the more you have, the more you will also get problems. Nothing comes value free. इसमें तो ज़्यादा उम्मीद नहीं करना चाहिए आपको, ठीक है ना? And nowadays, of course, unfortunately, some people, for the sake of money, they kill relatives. ठीक है ना? Give up material objects and adorn by the wealth of the excelled. वही बोल रहे हैं. Adorn yourself with the wealth of the excelled means the inner qualities. The 7 wealth is being explained here. Number 1 is faith. Adorn yourself by the wealth of excelled means excelled beings. So the wealth of the excelled being are 7, which is explained here. Number 1 is faith, Shraddha. You need faith, not blind faith. These days, most people have blind faith, not genuine faith. Genuine faith must be based on reasoning. You develop reasoning, then based on that understanding, reasoning, you develop that faith. So that faith is unshakable. If you develop blind faith, it will create a lot of problems. So things that you have no idea, you don't know, no need to create faith. Hoga bolo, mujhe pata nahi bolo. That is what the scientists say. Scientists never say there is no God. They never say there is a God. If you ask the scientists, is there God or not God, they will say, I have no idea. That's not my field of research. They are very honest. So we should have that scientific mind. जिस चीज़ तुमको पता नहीं है, उसके खिलाफ भी मत बोलो क्योंकि तुमको पता नहीं है. उसके प्रति भी मत बोलो. ठीक है ना? चुपके से बैठो. So, but you should develop faith and understanding towards those that you are clear. Like for example, if you eat poison, that will kill you. उसमें विश्वास करो. Huh? So things like that. So pay more attention to what is clear, what is evident to you. Faith. So I'm not going to explain. We have not much time because faith also there are so many types. Next time, don't wait for the Gurukul. If you are a group of people who are really interested, then you can organize and come for like 10 days workshop where you study one text properly. है ना? अभी तो कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं हो कर सकता. हम थोड़ा हम बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है ना? Faith may be there 5-6 different types of faiths. Then the next is morality. Morality is like the earth. Without the earth, without the ground, you can't construct building, you can't walk, you can't stand. So morality is like this. Morality basically means 3 things. 1, not harming others. If you don't harm others, that is moral practice. You are man with morality. Not harming others is good, but that's not enough. The second is, like this. The first morality is stopping negative deeds, including not harming others. Stopping negative deeds. That's, morality is not sitting in a corner observing particular discipline. Morality means, number 1, restraining negative deeds, which is good, right? But that's not enough. So the second type of morality is collecting virtuous qualities, collecting good qualities. It's very important. And the third is, the main reason why you restrain from negative deeds and collect good deeds is to help others. So third is helping others. That's morality. Morality ऐसा नहीं कि बात भी नहीं कर रहा है, धीरे धीरे जा रहा है, बहुत सुंदर लग रहा है, काम कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, उसको नहीं morality नहीं बोलते हैं. ठीक है ना? पता चल गया ना? उसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं शील. शील means शीतलता. If you don't harm others, help others, collect virtuous qualities, your mind will become cool. Shital. When your mind is cool, then you can meditate. Then you can develop wisdom. That's why morality is so important. If you don't have morality, then success in your studies and education is very, very difficult. ठीक है ना? A simple example is, for example, in your college life. As I already mentioned, if you are not sleeping properly, दारू पी के जा रहा है, घूम रहा है, मौज मस्ती बोल के इधर उधर घूम रहा है, फिर दूसरे दिन तुम्हारा सिर फिर रहा है, स्टडी कहाँ होगा? Morality चाहिए इसमें. And if you have morality, then in the long run people will also respect you. Instead of morality, if you engage on stupid things, drinking this, for a short time, it's fun, masti, looks good. But then people, ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं, तो मुझे पता है, मुझे पता है बोलेगा सब. ठीक है ना? जब फन मस्ती हो रहा है तब तो बोलेगा बहुत अच्छा है, खाओ पियो, ये करो वो करो, सब करने का, जो भी गलत काम करना सब करेगा. फिर बीच में बाद में बोलेगा मुझे पता है. ऐसे होता है आदमी. ठीक है ना? So therefore you should have control over yourself. Third is generosity, giving. Because whatever capacity you have, giving means not just giving money. Giving Giving means giving material things, including money. Giving means giving knowledge, education. The most important giving is gift of dharma, gift of education. And then also the gift of saving somebody from fear. If somebody has fear, then if you protect that person, then you are giving him fearlessness. Right? So with giving also there are so many types. Giving. Then next is listening. Not hearing, listening. 2 ears diya hai na, mouth ek hi hai na. So that means listen more, see more, speak little bit less. If you look at the structure of your body, you will understand it. Because if you listen more, you will get many knowledges. If you keep on speaking, you will be repeating what you already know, just as I am doing right now. There are advantages, but there will be more advantage if you listen to others. Nowadays, people are very fond of speaking, not listening. है ना? तो therefore somebody said, which one would you prefer? If somebody gives you money or somebody gives you advice? The answer is, money. Because money देने वाला बहुत कम है. Advice देने वाला बहुत है. Right? So listening. The Buddhist process of practice is listening, contemplation, meditation. First you should listen, then after that contemplate, think about it, how far this sounds true. Then make it part of your life through meditation. Okay? Then next is having shame. Having shame. Having shame means, I am a Tibetan, how can I do this? I am Indian, I cannot do this. I am a Dharma practitioner, I cannot do this. With your reason, if you stop doing things, that is called having shame. Next is called having concern for others. If I do this, what my parents will think. If I do this, what my teachers will think. Or if I do this, what Buddha will think. So when you consider other, respect other, and because of that you stop doing bad things, that is called having sense of concern. Hindi में कुछ शब्द मुझे याद नहीं है. अंग्रेजी में we had lot of difficulty translating this word. Okay, then the last is wisdom. Wisdom comes through experience, information, knowledge, then wisdom. Give up all commotions and live in solitude. Isolation instead of isolation, maybe solitude is better. And live in solitude or isolation, discard words of gossip, and always restrain your speech. I've already spoken yesterday when I was explaining 10 non-virtuous actions. Give up all commotions. जो चहल पहल अभी बोला था ना, उसमें ज़्यादा नहीं जाना चाहिए था. थोड़ा कुछ, you should learn how to live alone. Go within, think, meditate, study, educate yourself, do exercise, meditate, go for a short walk in the forest or nature, out into the nature, not just mixing with people all the time. Sangati ka prabhav बोलते हैं ना. It's very important to be very clear about which person you are going. If you go with the wrong person, you will pick up all the wrong things. If you go with a good person, you will pick up good things. Discard words of gossip. Gappe marna, kal bol diya tha. And always restrain your speech. You have to restrain your speech. इसलिए टंग कहाँ है? बाहर है, निकला हुआ है कि अंदर है? अंदर है ना? हाँ, मतलब ज़्यादा नहीं बोल रहे. अंदर है ना? हर चीज़ का मीनिंग है अंदर. नाक कैसे है? नाक नीचे ऐसे है ना? ये नाक जो है आपके शरीर में बदुआ है नहीं है, उसको सूंघने के लिए नहीं है, इसको सूंघने के लिए है. बाहर गंदगी सूंघने के लिए नहीं है. pig का nose जैसे नहीं है ना. Pigs, they have to scavenge, so therefore their nose is also outside, inside. हर चीज़ का मतलब होता है. ठीक है ना? Ear कहाँ है? दोनों ear दो साइड में है ना. That means listen to things from all directions. Okay, when lamas and abbots are seen, with veneration cultivate respect. So that means I explained to you lamas, then abbots, which means when you really see good people, lama, abbot or koi bhi, jo really good ones, then respect them. Jugna siko. Okay? Especially person with dharma eye and sentient beings of beginning stage. Person with the dharma eye means people who really have right good knowledge of the dharma, right? A person of good knowledge, roughly speaking, people with good dharma knowledge, but it actually means people who have really achieved some spiritual level. So respect to them. And sentient beings of beginning stage. Sentient beings of beginning stage means ordinary people who are really like making a start to study dharma or something, then you should respect them. Why? Because they are the future citizens of the country. They are the future Buddhas, future Bodhisattvas. Therefore, it is very important to take good care of your children. That's what he's saying. Develop the recognition similar to the Buddha. What we normally do, when we see Buddha, we say, oh Buddha, oh Dalai Lama. When we see sentient beings, ye kya cheez hai? Oh, nahi hona chahiye bolta. In Buddhism, both this should be seen equal. Equal not in terms of their qualification knowledge, but in terms of what we get from them. From Buddhas and Dalai Lamas and other teachers, you get good knowledge. But from living with sentient beings, you learn patience, you learn tolerance, you learn forgiveness, you learn compassion. If there are no sentient being, how can you develop compassion? How can you develop love? Right? So these sentient beings are really like the ground. If you fall on the ground, then when you get up, you need to again seek the support of the ground. So therefore, when we make mistakes with other sentient beings, we should correct it by forgiving them. Develop the recognition similar to the Buddhas. When seeing all sentient beings, develop the recognition similar to parents. Koi bhi sentient being, bird, chiriya, bird, animals, humans of all kinds, as I already mentioned, see them as your parents. If they are senior, see them like your parent. If they are junior, your brother, sister, your children. ठीक है ना? सबको मेरा children है बोल के हाँ करने का जरूरत नहीं है. Mentally you should think like that, है ना? Because otherwise people will again develop wrong misconception. Give up negative friends. Negative friend means not those who have horns, or red eyes, or bearing fangs. Negative friend means when you associate with somebody, if your good qualities decrease, negative qualities increase, then clearly you are associating with bad friend. So as soon as you realize this, distance from them. Okay? So similarly, good spiritual friend means when you associate with somebody, your compassion increases, your love increases, your harmony increases, your peace of mind increases, then such a friend is very, very important. Associate with them. Okay? Give up negative friends and seek spiritual friends. Discard hatred, I already explained, and unhappy mind. This one I want to tell you, unhappy mind. If you want peace, then in all situations you should try to maintain calmness of your mind. So whatever you should say, whatever may happen in my life, I will never be unhappy. Kar sakta hai? Can you do that? Not easy, but you should do that. This is almost like a commitment that I am giving you. Whatever may come in my life, I will never make my mind unhappy. Because if your mind becomes unhappy, then you will not be able to do anything. Then you will not be able to take care of yourself, you will not be able to take care of your relatives, friends, and so forth. So in order to maintain that happiness and peace of the mind, you need to understand the situation. For example, if you get a very good news today, you will be happy, right? But don't get too excited, because bad news is waiting. वो भी आने वाला है. If you hear bad news today, you will feel sad, of course, but don't get too deflated, don't get too dejected, because good news is also coming. And then sufferings. If you understand suffering, suffering means challenge. If you face challenge, you get an opportunity to grow. If you run away from suffering, run away from challenge, you will never learn anything new. फिर क्या होता है सोपटी सोपटी बोलते हैं ना हम लोग. So that's why they say that people who were born before the Second World War, during the Second World War, they are very tough. And after that, people are very soft. They are unable to tolerate anything. धूप में भी काम नहीं कर सकता है, कुछ नहीं कर सकता. आजकल सब AC में बैठा है. तभी तो सब everybody is becoming sick today, because you hardly move your body. Your body is for moving. In the initial stage, we were animals. Animals like dogs, they move all the time. That's why they are so fit. Gym नहीं है उनके पास कुछ भी. ठीक है ना? So our mind is, as we say, rolling stone gathers no moss. जो पत्थर घूमते रहता है ना, उसमें जंग नहीं लगता है. जो नहीं घूमता ऐसे बैठा है, जंग लग जाता है ब्रेन में. तो घूमना चाहिए, exercise, moving your hands, legs, very, very important. Muscles. If you don't do that, gradually the muscles will stop working. Brain will stop working. Right? Discard hatred and unhappy mind. And wherever you... Now how can you be happy? I told you already. You can be happy by saying that I am not a dog. Imagine if you are a dog, क्या करेंगे फिर? क्या खाएंगे फिर आप? चॉकलेट तो छोड़ो, क्या खाएंगे? वही गंदगी खाएंगे और क्या खाएंगे? Among human beings also, you are especially lucky because you have both the eyes intact, both the legs intact. Don't take it for granted. है ना? अगर आपका हाथ नहीं होता आज, क्या करेंगे आप? कई सारा इतना स्कूल भी है जहाँ blind school for blind kids, बेचारा एक दूसरे को पकड़ के ऐसे जाना पड़ता है, पूरा जिंदगी ऐसे जाना पड़ता है. If you become like that, फिर क्या करेंगे आप? So on the one hand, you should be happy that you have all these great things at your disposal, and then use it for beneficial activities. Because you got this beautiful eye, use it for seeing good things, not bad things. है ना? Misuse मत करो. And wherever you go, go in peace. This is how you think. If you think about good things, you are happy. I have been, during the last so many years, I've been always thinking, I am so lucky, so fortunate person. So are you. You are fortunate. You don't have to have everything that is there in the world. Most important thing is you are relatively healthy. Right? You are also able to go to relatively, not maybe the best, but relatively good universities, good colleges. Right? सब आपके पास है. So wherever you go, this is like prayer. Wherever you go, go in peace, my dear brothers, sisters. Go in peace. Okay? Discard attachment in anything and live without. Discard attachment in anything. This is not saying you should not have attachment to cars, but you should have attachment to people. नहीं बोल रहे हैं ना? किसी चीज में भी if you develop attachment, you will उसमें फंस जाएंगे आप. मैं आपको एक नमूना दिखा दूँ. If I develop, say, attachment to this one. So because of attachment, my mind is already moving like this. So if I'm already moving like this, फिर मेरा पाँव क्या हो रहा है यहाँ? Destabilize हो गया ना? तो थोड़ा सा यहाँ धक्का लगेगा, गिर जाएगा मैं. ऐसे होता है. When you develop obsession, attachment to things, you already destabilizing yourself. Attachment में नहीं है, बस अपना जगह में दृढ़ता से खड़ा हो जाओ. So, attachment. Attachment makes you blind. So have contentment. There are things you need. If you have 2 crores of rupee, there's not a problem. Problem is attachment. The text is not saying that you should be a beggar. The text is not saying you should not have a car or things like that. If you can have it, if you afford to have it, and if you have earned it through rightful means, you become Elon Musk, whatever. There's no problem. The problem is attachment. खुद भी नहीं खा सकता है, दूसरों को भी नहीं बांट रहा है और मिसयूज कर रहा है ना? If you hear the stories of some of the rich people in the world, you will be shocked. ये लोग क्या करता है? जैसे कि हॉलीवुड वगैरह हैं, बॉलीवुड में भी होगा, rich people, what they do? Because they are celebrities, they spend a lot of time socializing. तो socializing मतलब eating है ना? कितना खा सकेंगे आप? यहाँ लंच है, उधर से खा लिया, वहाँ लंच है, उधर से खा। फिर कई लोग क्या करता है, इधर से थोड़ा खाया, फिर दूसरा जाने से पहले बाथरूम में जाके उल्टी करता है वो लोग। Shocking, unbelievable. I heard this real story from people who have this experience. पागलपन का कोई हद नहीं है। And some rich people, they go to the beach and use the new towel and then throw it. Next time they wash, they need new towel. Towel is nothing, just small example. I've given you the example. There are people whose mobile phones are completely covered with gold. क्या करेंगे? It's neither good for you nor good for others. So therefore, through rightful ways, if you are rich, if you have a lot of money, it's good, but share a little bit to others who are in need. Right? And live without attachment. Due to attachment, even happy migration is not attachment. That means if you develop a lot of attachment, then you will get stuck in the samsara. Samsara में फंस जाओगे, फिर निर्वाण प्राप्त कभी नहीं होगा आप. You will never get liberated. That happy migration means next time you will not be born as a human being. Happy migration means life of a human being, life of a celestial being. Unhappy migration means life of a dog, life of an animal. So if you develop too much attachment, next time you will not be born as a human being. There's no guarantee that हमेशा तुम तरक्की करते जाओगे. ऐसा नहीं है. You will be born in accordance with what you do. You can be born as a cockroach. Cockroach जनता पार्टी आ रहा है ना आजकल. परसों हंगामा करेगा बोल रहा है ना. The founder is coming. He said he will come. And moreover, it takes the life of liberation. Life of liberation means nirvana प्राप्त कभी नहीं होगा. Okay. Wherever the source of peace is seen, there strive forever. So cultivate the causes for happiness. Cultivate the causes for peace. Whichever you have begun, accomplish just that fast. I have spoken about this also a little bit earlier. Don't start anything which you will not be able to accomplish. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना तिब्बती में एक मुहावरा है कि जो अंधा याग है, जो अंधा याग घास खाता है उस तरह मत करो. जो अंधा याग है उसको आंख नहीं दिखा देते, फिर यहाँ से भी थोड़ा खा लिया, यहाँ से भी थोड़ा खा लिया. हाँ, ऐसा मत करो. अंधा गाय या याग की तरह मत करो. First you think properly whether you should start this project, start this subject, or start this business, whatever. Think properly, pros and cons. Take time. And after having made the proper decision, then when you start it, then make sure you are able to complete it. Otherwise, you will never be successful in any project. इधर से भी थोड़ा शुरू कर दिया, complete नहीं हुआ, इधर से भी थोड़ा शुरू कर दिया, complete नहीं हुआ, फिर people will also not respect you. You will also not get job. इसने क्या किया बोलेगा ना. दिखाने के लिए कुछ तो होना चाहिए ना, क्या किया. What did you achieve? For your job also. right? For example, even this small text, I got up early in the morning and sat many hours to compile this text. The text is there, huge text. I did not bring text. The root text is already there. Then the commentary, I have to read and take a little bit out. I have not given you the commentary because it is not translated into English, but I have the Tibetan commentary. Now it's so easy for me to help others. इसमें भी थोड़ा कुछ मेहनत करना पड़ता है, ठीक है ना? Okay. Wherever the source of peace is seen, there strive forever. Strive forever बोलता है ना, 4 दिन की चांदनी वाला नहीं बोल रहा है ना? Strive forever. Whichever you have begun, accomplish just that first. दूसरा मत लो, तुम हाथ मत लगाओ. I'll tell you a story in my own case. I started a small archive project to archive His Holiness the Dalai Lama's teachings and things like that. Then at that time I used to translate for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Then this famous actor Richard Gere used to sit next to me. So Tibetans and many others, they always fond of taking pictures with him, and maybe some people even asking for some help, something like that. वो बहुत सालों से मेरे साथ बैठता था when I was translating, but I never asked anything. So one day he knew about this archive. He said, "Oh, you should start a proper construction where there should be 24 hours light, things like that. So initially I'll give this much $, and then I'll do the fundraising." Then I thought about it a little bit. Then I said, "No, thank you. पैसा लेना आसान है, लेकिन उस काम किसने करना? हमने करना है ना, हमने चलाना है ना, तो सिर दर्द वाली बात है, तो मैंने नहीं बोला. So therefore I don't accept anything when there is a deadline. I tell them before I'm able to finish deadline, I will be a dead person. मुझे वो नहीं चाहिए, मुझे आज़ादी चाहिए, खुशी खुशी से करने वाला. हाँ, sometimes maybe for money and other things you have to do something within deadline. I'm not saying don't do it at all, but make sure you're able to do it. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you're able to do it. Whichever you have begun, accomplish just that first. By doing so, एक चीज में अब ठीक से accomplish कर देंगे, तो all will be well accomplished. When you do one thing good, many other things will be done. ये तो मैंने खत्म कर दिया, अभी नहीं second करेंगे, वो भी खत्म होगा, third करेंगे. And then you start 1 here, वो भी खत्म नहीं है, 2 here, वो भी खत्म नहीं है, तीसरा है, वो भी खत्म नहीं है. That's not good. This is called specialization. Or else both will not be achieved. 2-3 शुरू कर दिया, you will not be able to achieve success in that. Due to constant misdeeds and lack of joy, when a puffed up mind arises, then arrogance should be reduced. And I already explained, I am not going to explain. And recall the instruction of the Lama. When the mind of discouragement arises, address the spirit of the mind, recall wisdom, perfection, meditate both in the state of emptiness. That means, sometimes when you achieve certain success, in education, in your work, things like that, you get puffed up. Ahankar ho jata, arrogance, you become arrogant. That is not good. That's one extreme. Sometimes you don't achieve certain thing, you even fail sometimes, then you get discouraged. वो भी नहीं होना चाहिए बोलता है. My teacher, when I was in the school, my teacher, now he is 96 years old. He's one of the top scholars. This year, beginning, I went to see him. He's 96 years old, still very strong, doing his own personal exercises. And when I came in, he said, "Oh, you came. Now have lunch here. Today stay here. We'll talk." Then we discuss so many things. So when I was in the school, many years before, he used to say, if you are failing in, say, class 6th, he says, don't discourage, because class 6 तक तो आ गया ना आप. आपके नीचे अभी कितना, दूसरी, तीसरी, चौथी सब नीचे हैं, तो इतना आप पहुंच गया. आपको डिस्करेजमेंट होने की जरूरत नहीं है। तब आप क्लास 5 आप इफ यू आर गेटिंग फर्स्ट पोजीशन, she says don't get arrogant. बहुत सारा लड़का लड़की क्लास 6 में पढ़ रहा है, 7 में पढ़ रहा है, 8 में पढ़ रहा है, तो क्या चीज़ है, अभी 5वीं में बैठा है. So this is how you see things. And failure is not failure of life. किसी चीज़ में फेल हो जाते किसी कारण से. अभी नीट जो चल रहा है बहुत सारा गंदा काम, वो स्टूडेंट का फेल थोड़ी है वो. तो कभी due to certain situations you fail, but failure is a learning opportunity to take the next step. So failure means not complete failure of your life. ठीक है ना? Then next, where the objects of attachment and hatred appears, see them as illusions and emanations. कल मैंने बोल दिया था. When unpleasant words are heard, see them as an echo. किसी ने आपको बोला, बहुत गंदा शब्द बोला आपको, ए चोर, किसी ने बोला आपको, अब चोर हो जाएगा. If somebody says you are a thief, will you become a thief? Let them say. If somebody says you are a dog, you don't have to bark. Somebody says you are Buddha, you are not going to get enlightened. जैसे कि आपने go to the mountain and shout, dog, the rocks will also shout back, echo, dog. You will not become a dog. So words are like this, don't pay too much attention. Okay. See them as an echo. When harms arise to the body, see it as a result of your past actions. Don't just blame others only, that's what he's saying. Live well in remote and isolated places. As much as possible, learn to live with yourself. दुनियादारी से ज़्यादा कुछ मिलने वाला नहीं है. ठीक है ना? You are an ordinary young person, you need friends, so it's okay, live with people, but not too much. Because at the end of the day, nobody will be there for you. Live well in remote and isolated places. Isolated place means not necessarily moving into the mountain. अपने कमरे में चुपचाप बैठो, है ना? Sometimes I feel I sleep better in my own room than in 5-star hotel. खाना भी घर का खाना अच्छा लगता है. उधर 5-star होटल में दिखने में बहुत अच्छा है. दिखने में क्यों अच्छा है? क्यों लाइट भी थोड़ा डिम कर दिया, तभी लोग ना देख सकें सब कुछ. और प्लेट बहुत बड़ा सा लग दिया यहाँ, इसमें दाल छोटा सा डाल दिया, है ना? कुछ नहीं, उसको फिर देन चार्ज so much, है ना? Live well in remote and isolated places, like the dead body of wild animal. One should hide oneself and live without attachment. Always be firm with your commitment. क्या कौन है, सनी देओल है, कोई बोलता है ना, मैं आपने एक वादा कर दिया तो अपना भी नहीं मानता, ऐसे बोलता है. Always be firm with your commitment. एक बार commitment, आसान से commitment मत करो, ये करेगा वो करेगा. Don't say this. Once you make a commitment, that's it. And when laziness and attachment to sensual pleasures, I discuss a lot about the sensual pleasures arise, then rebuke and scold yourself. पागल, मैं इसके पीछे क्यों जा रहा, बोलो अपने आप को. And recall the essence of ethical conduct. If you see others with calm and straightforwardness, then speak honestly. Give up grimace and scowl. That means शक्ल है ना, ऐसे करके मत जाओ. हाँ, दूसरों को गलत आंख से देखना, गुस्से से देखना, ऐसे मत करो. लेकिन that doesn't mean that to everybody should like this. Generally speaking, it's important to carry a smile on your face, but not with the wrong person. Wrong person ऐसे करेंगे तो बोलता है मुझे सिग्नल दे रहा है. आजकल क्या है ज़माना. So you should know कहाँ क्या करना है, सब कुछ आपको पता चलना चाहिए. If you see others with calm and straightforwardness, speak honestly, give up grimace and scowl, and forever live with a smile, generally speaking. Normally, when you see others, be not stringent but delight in giving. When you see others with calm and straightforwardness, speak honestly, give up grimace and scowl, and forever live with a smile, generally speaking. Normally, when you see others, be not stringent but delight in giving. When you see others with calm and straightforwardness, speak honestly, give up grimace and scowl, and forever live with a smile, generally speaking. and discard all jealousy. To respect others' mind, discard all disputations, and forever be equipped with patience. That means for useless things, don't engage in argument. ठीक है ना? You are not there to solve everybody's problem. कोई इसमें क्या बोलते हैं argument हो रहा है, verbal fighting हो रहा है, क्या मिलेगा आपको? हाँ? So don't pretend that you are the best person in the world to solve arguments and disputations of others, and forever be equipped with patience. I mean, there are so many people, sometimes even when they say something, the word they say is so bitter, it will just hurt your mind. But if you know how to be patient, how to take it in the right sense, not in the wrong sense, then it's okay. One time Buddha was there with his some of his followers. Then elderly strange person came straight to the Buddha and spat on his face. Buddha के मुंह में थूका उसने. The Buddha did remain as before, did not say anything. Then when this man was kicked out by his students, then the students told the Buddha that your patience is a little bit too much. This person we don't know at all, he just came and spat on your face, you're still sitting there, not responding. Then the Buddha said, I'm not angry, upset with that person, I'm upset with you. Because you people are supposed to be practicing patience with me for so long. Yes, you are right, this gentleman we don't know, therefore why he is spitting on my face, that also we don't know. Somebody must have said many bad things about me, therefore he must be angry. Therefore I did not react. So it is said that this man who spat on the Buddha's face could not sleep the whole night. The next morning, the first thing that he did was came straight to the Buddha and asked for his forgiveness. Never judge people and don't take it personally. ज़्यादातर we suffer because everything we take it personally. मुझे बोल रहा है ये, मुझे मेरी तरफ इशारा कर रहा है, ये वो है, तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? You can't silence everybody. ठीक है ना? And some people don't know how to speak, how to use the right word. He may not intend to hurt you. So ऐसे सोच करके फिर ज़्यादा ध्यान मत दो. ठीक है ना? Be without flattery. We already studied this. Or rush for new friendship. हाँ. हिंदी में क्या बोलता है पता नहीं. कई लोग बोलते हैं fickle, something like English is like fickle. कोई नया लड़का लड़की मिल गया तो उससे दोस्ती बढ़ने में बहुत जल्दी हाँ करके दौड़ता है उसके पीछे. पुराना दोस्ती को छोड़ के नया वो मत करो बोलते हैं. Don't be fickle. Don't run for new friendship. But always be stable and firm. Give up despising others. दूसरों को निंदा मत करो. And remain with respect. When instructing others, have compassion and benevolence. For example, if you are teaching, just like I am teaching, it's not just explaining the text, but you should have compassion towards other people. You should have this wish to benefit others. I should have this understanding that all these people come here from Delhi and many other places, not to waste time. They came here not because foundation has organized it. Foundation is organized for many people, but only you people came, not others. Why? Because you show interest. You want to become good. So I should have that understanding that these people are basically good people. So that's why when I give talk and people who come to listen to me, sometimes I feel a little bit inconvenient because I tell them this is like preaching the converts, talking to good people. I should actually be talking to bad people, but unfortunately they are not going to come. So we end up talking to each other, the good people coming together. So you're already good. So therefore I should feel happy that there are many young good people. They are here to study, so I should as much as possible try to help them. That should be the motivation. Have compassion and benevolent mind. ठीक है ना? Do not defame the Dharma. As I already mentioned, if you don't know about Dharma, then just shut up. ऐसे बकवास करके मत बोलो, बुरा मत बोलो. aspire that which you like, which is not just what you like, but which you think beneficial, uske liye mehnat karo. And through the 10 virtuous deeds, strive to pass day and night. We already studied to give up the 10 non-virtuous actions and practice the 10 virtuous actions. And then aise zindagi beto aap. Don't kill anybody, don't steal, don't engage in adultery, things like that. So this is how you should spend your life. Virtues accumulated in the 3 times be dedicated for the unsurpassing great enlightenment. That means whatever good things you do, after having done this good thing, then you should think, may this, the fruit of this good thing that I have done, may this become a cause to become Buddha, to get enlightened. This is like depositing your money in the bank. If you deposit your money in the bank, you will get some interest. If you put it under your mattress, there is no interest. And the merits be offered to all sentient beings. Always make great prayers on the 7 limb. 7 limb prayer means first is prostration, paying homage. Second is making offering. Third is confession. Fourth is rejoicing. When somebody is doing good thing, rejoice. Then requesting the great teachers to give Dharma teaching. Request them not to pass away. And dedicate everything that you do for the benefit of all sentient beings. This is called 7 limb practice, briefly speaking. Of the 7 limbs, doing thus, both merit and wisdom will be accomplished. Both the obscurations will cease. Both the obscurations means there are 2 obscurations. Obscuration to nirvana and obscuration to enlightenment. They will also come to an end. Obscuration to nirvana is primarily the negative emotions. Obscuration to enlightenment is the imprints left behind by negative emotions. And the actualized human life, it is in this way that the human life that you have got today will become meaningful. Sirap khane peene se meaningful nahi hota hai. If you want to make your human life meaningful, this is the way to make your life meaningful. Thus one attain it is also through this way that you will attain the unsurpassing enlightenment. Unsurpassing means there is nothing bigger than Buddhahood. And then he speaks about this 7 wealth, which we briefly discussed earlier. The wealth of faith and the wealth of morality, the wealth of consideration for others and feeling of shame, the wealth of hearing and the wealth of giving, which we already studied, and the wealth of wisdom are the 7 wealth. These aspects of wealth are the 7 inexhaustible treasure. ये कभी ख़त्म नहीं होता है. पैसा आपके पास जितना भी है ख़त्म हो जाता है, लेकिन आपके पास जो करुणा है, फेथ है, इंटीग्रिटी, वो ख़त्म नहीं होता है ना? So this is really the good thing. ये जंक फूड जो आप खा रहा है ना, वो फ्री में नहीं मिल रहा है ना, हवा फ्री में मिल रहा है ना, करुणा फ्री में मिल रहा है ना, अच्छी चीज़ें सब फ्री में मिलता है, लेकिन बेवकूफ़ हम लोग इन चीज़ों को हम ध्यान नहीं देता है. जो चीज़ हानिकारक है उसके पीछे हम दौड़ रहा है, पैसा दे करके गधे की तरह दौड़ रहा है. समझ में आया? और जो चीज़ अच्छा नहीं उसको सब ट्रेडमार्क करके बेच रहा है. कंपैशन को किसने ट्रेडमार्क किया? लविंग काइंडनेस को किसने ट्रेडमार्क किया? राइट? ये दैट इज द थिंग. 7 inexhaustible treasure and should not be related to the non-humans. That means non-human means जो non-humans है, जिसके समझ में नहीं है. Human beings maybe there are those who will not be able to understand. Then no need to talk about it. ठीक है ना? And then finally, when among many, watch your words. बहुत सारे लोगों के बीच में अब है तो मुंह थोड़ा बंद करो. ठीक है? When remaining alone, जब अकेला है तो watch your mind. This ends the Bodhisattva Garland of Gem composed by the Indian abbot Dibamkara Shrijan Parajana Garbha. This is translated, proofread and finalized. So the good thing, that's why the relation between India and Tibet is several centuries friendship. आजकल जब हम लोग शरणार्थी यहाँ आया तब से शुरू नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है ना, many centuries. So when this great texts were translated, they were translated together by an Indian scholar and Tibetan scholar. This ends the Bodhisattva Garland gem composed by the Indian abbot Devamkara Shirijana, Indian है. This is translated, proofread and finalized by the Indian abbot himself, Indian है ना, साथ में Tibetan Bhikshu Sutim Jalwar. He was his translator also. He came to India to study. Naksoloza was Sutim Jalwar. And then the English translation. This unedited English translation is done by me, the great Geshe Lhakdor. Are you hearing me? At Shivesal, the Garden of Peace in Ladakh, on 17 June 2003, बहुत साल पहले, when I was his translator. As a preparation for His Holiness's teaching on this text and Tsongkhapa's three principal aspects of the path, from 1st to 4 July 2003 में अनुवाद किया. This translation is done primarily for my own practice, but also sincerely hope that this is of some benefit to few others. Proofread again on 18 July 2004, consulting the 5 treatises of Acharya Devamkara Shirijana. Sarva Mangalam. Done. Done. Yeah, we have time for questions. Yes. I will leave like 5 minutes before 11 because I have to receive the Swiss ambassador from Delhi coming to see the library. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. I'm Amna. And my question was related to listening, because you talked about the value of listening
Yes.
versus hearing. So I teach young students in a particular college, and recently, because of some very repressive institutional guidelines, we are supposed to almost participate in obliterating histories of oppression through the classroom practice itself. For example, we are told to not use words like caste, don't say class, and by that we are actually negating certain histories of marginalization and so much more. So, and any attempt at dialogue, because I love listening to the stories that my students bring to the class, what is their worldview. It's so important to hear them, and there's so much to learn, and this is also a Gurukul program, so that's why I'm also asking this question. Any attempt at dialogue, such a in exchange, is also further silenced by institutions, and it's also translating into a lot of certain kind of a power dynamic between students and teachers, which is not very nice often. So I just wanted to ask you, what is your message to young teachers, young students like myself, and how can we create listening classrooms and more compassionate spaces to hear each other out? That's it.
Number one, I suggest you should read the new guidelines of education that the government of India brought out. उसी में से पकड़ के अब करना चाहिए. Then nobody can say this is something you are starting new. It should be there. Because now the complaint is the education policy that came out quite recently, generally speaking, quite good. But the people's complaint is that they are not implemented. Implement nahi ho raha hai. तो उसी को पकड़ के you should do it, so that they will not be able to say that you are going against the Indian government's policy. Number one. Number two, without dialogue, without discussion, you can never get a proper education. I mean, Aristotle, Socrates, how much dialogue they had in the beginning. Socrates even had to sacrifice his life because he was constantly making himself available to people, asking questions, Us zamane में भी people don't like him, hear many things. But anyway, wherever possible, don't try to react negatively to the teachers and whoever is the authority. Sometimes it doesn't work. But you do your work. क्वेश्चन आंसर तो कर सकता है ना, डायलॉग बोलो ना बोलो, क्वेश्चन आंसर इज डायलॉग, क्वेश्चन आंसर तो कर सकता है ना. So that's important. And then of course it's important to listen to the people. It's important to see how much students are learning. These days, as I mentioned earlier, education means taking the things that you have within you out, not injecting from outside. Nowadays, education means आपके खोपड़ी में दूसरों का सोच विचार डालना, अपने वही लेना. It's not just that. It's primarily making your inner resources awake. So therefore, great thinkers like Einstein, he said, these days teachers bring havoc in the life of the children because they always ask what the children don't know. They never try what is the capacity of the children. This is from Einstein, right? So it's very important. And then second thing is, if you keep on talking all the time, you have no idea how much they are getting. And people may have questions, doubts. How are you going to solve that if you don't listen to them, right? But you should be skillful, yeah.
I just want to follow up on Amna's question. Like you said that you think that the education policy that we have is good, but I personally believe it's a product of that policy that we can't talk about things like caste and class. Like you are taking this session right now, and if let's say you said at the beginning of the session that nobody will talk about greed or nobody will talk about sadness, it would limit our conversations and it would limit your understanding of हमें कितना समझ आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा. So yeah, I was just wondering, so if I on a personal level don't agree with the education policy, even if other people do, and I feel like that it's affecting my voice and people who are like me, our voice, then what do I do? And how do you create that environment? Because in a lot of places they are also revising syllabuses. So in a lot of places, for example, like in China, the history of Tibet has been changed. So similarly in India, a lot of Muslim history or caste-based history is being changed. So what do you do in those scenarios? Is it always important to just abide by authority and be like कि ये rules हैं तो follow करेंगे?
There are two things. One is what you do in the classroom, but you are not in the classroom all the time. You are also out many times. So out in the society, if it is restricted in the classroom, if there is a possibility that you don't work in that classroom and go to another where there is possibility to discuss this, then go there. If there is no such possibility, then unfortunately you have to work because you need money. पैसा तो चाहिए आपको, दूसरा चारा नहीं. But that doesn't mean that you should shut up even outside the classroom. Outside the classroom, you can talk about it. And this is actually unfortunate because चार कास्ट तो है ही है, पूरा कितना सालों से चल रहा है ना? So nobody can silence those things. Okay. You can silence some people for some time, but you cannot silence all people for all time. Yeah.
It's like the modern minds of the youth, the atheist, skeptical youth.
Yeah.
Every time the words compassion, altruism in His Holiness's teachings, they come up to such a youth, we often tend to initially misunderstand it. We often skeptically first look at the opposite side of it, that compassion would not work in reality. Altruism seems too far from reality. So I would like to ask you, Geshe Lhakdor, that even once we begin to understand these, even once we take these workshops, what is it that even advanced students sometimes often misunderstand about compassion and altruism?
Two things. One is you cannot clear the doubts of everybody because everybody will not come to listen, number one. उन अपना तरीका है, वो चल रहा है, दूसरे कोने में बैठ के चल रहा है, गप्पे मार रहा है, क्या कर सकता हम? If people really have doubt and really want to learn, is compassion a strength or weakness? If people want to learn, like you come, then we have the possibility to explain. Then we have the possibility to explain whether Gandhi was weak, Buddha was weak, Nelson Mandela was weak. Example है हमारे पास, हम ऐसे खाली थोड़ी बोल रहे हैं. Nelson Mandela, was he weak? Desmond Tutu, was he weak? Mother Teresa, was he weak? Mahatma Gandhi, was he weak? नमूना दे सकता है how much changes, happiness these people brought about in the world. ठीक है ना? So that's one thing. The second thing is for people who are not very well educated, who don't think much, and they think violence is the solution. Narabaji laga, then you do something, then you think you have done something. Right? One time I was giving a public talk in Israel, Jerusalem. So after my talk, a very tall Israeli guy came to me. I have to tell you something. He had this white small hat on his scalp. And he said, your talk was good, but your talk will not work here. Here people understand only this. बंदूक समझ में आता है और समझ नहीं आता. Yes, there are some people really like that, but that doesn't mean that people all over the world like killing. I mean, for example, whether you talk about compassion or love, as is taught in Buddhism or not, but the thing is, for example, in New Delhi, for example, what is the population? Delhi का population क्या है? Around 3 crore, right? Within this 3 crore of population in Delhi, in a day, how many people get killed? Any idea? Some, maybe some, but countable. Some days may be more, but generally countable. Accident हो गया तो अलग बात है. वैसे लड़ाई करके मरने वाला होगा, लेकिन वो नंबर जो है countable, ज़्यादा नहीं है ना. But see how many children are taken care of by the love of the mother and the parents. कितना है? How many sick and patients are there in the hospital taken care of with the love and compassion by nurses and doctors and others? Unginet है. That's the dominant force. We are not talking about love and compassion just from philosophy. This is real life. Right? If hatred and anger are more dominant, they are more useful, then by this time the population of the world should be very small. Population तो बढ़ रहा है ना अभी, इतना मर रहा है, फिर भी बढ़ रहा है ना. But the unfortunate thing is that positive side of human beings is not highlighted as much as the negative side is highlighted. If there's a killing, it will hit the headlines. If somebody loves, have a compassion, it's taken for granted, doesn't come out in the headline. So therefore, in the society, it's very important to highlight this dominant force of love and compassion. इन चीज़ों को दिखाना चाहिए. हम लोग वो नहीं दिखाते. हम लोग क्या दिखाते हैं टीवी में? क्रिकेट मैच, बॉलीवुड, हॉलीवुड एक्टर. जो दिखाना चाहिए वो हम लोग नहीं दिखाते हैं. ये देश इंडस्ट्री में कहाँ कितना तरक्की कर रहा है, एजुकेशन में कितना तरक्की कर रहा है. I mean, not just India, everywhere. Those good things should be highlighted. For example, to some extent, Japan, if you watch their television, they highlight really nice tourist places, health, centers, education centers, technological inventions. सब कुछ दिखने के लिए है. हमारे यहाँ है लेकिन कम है. कई कंट्रीज में तो है ही नहीं. वही जो शासन करने वाला उसका दुराचार हो रहा है और कुछ नहीं है. You're the youngest?
No, I'm not.
Anyway, yeah.
So over the few days, I've come across this sentence multiple times that forgiving does also. It was sorry, but forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. So
Yes.
this is what I came across multiple times. So
Yeah.
I feel like this sentence, if I understand it, if I decode the meaning of this sentence, I feel like it will be a key to a peaceful mind, at least for me. But I'm having trouble understanding this sentence. How can these two things can together be reinforced? It's like I'm not able to understand these two things. So yes,
I always say, forgive but remember the names.
But I'm not able to
Yeah.
understand.
Whatever negative thing has been done, that is negative. Remember, ये हुआ अच्छा गलत है, अच्छा नहीं है, वो तो याद तो होना चाहिए ना. And anything good happens, you should remember that also. Anything bad happens, remember that also. Remembering that doesn't mean you remember that for the sake of revenging. Just remember that this ugly thing happened, it is not good, they should not repeat it, I should not repeat it. For that purpose, you should remember it. Not for revenging. Okay?
Geshe, this is very similar to what she asked. So, like, there are so many values we are discussing here. So, what to do when there's a conflict between the two? For instance, for just one example, we are talking that one should have a presence of embarrassment or a shame or respect for elders. But what to choose when that conflicts with your other ideals? For instance, if one wants to do something and then the society is restricting you, or maybe there are other expectations. So, what to choose in that situation?
The criteria is you should see whether that is beneficial or not beneficial. If it is beneficial, then you should do it. If it's not beneficial, if it is beneficial, even if the society is against you, you should do it. For example, your khana, the food that you take. If society says, oh, she is eating too much, she is eating breakfast, she is eating lunch, she is dinner, will you stop eating? क्योंकि ये जरूरी है, आपको करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है ना? And those things which are useless, even if society does not say anything, you should not do it. Even if the society is not aware of all the bad things that you are doing, still you should not do it. So therefore integrity is important. Integrity means what you do when nobody is watching. तो इसमें maturation होना चाहिए. Maturation means when your concern for others outweigh your concern for yourself, then you are a mature person. So these things you need to know. ठीक है ना? Yes, sometimes you are on the right track, but people are saying something. Then don't pay too much attention. I'm on the right track, so let them say.
Hello, Geshe. So you said that when we talked about how to deal with anger and to see like good news, so that we can we are not always surrounded by bad news. So I do that, and like sometimes when I'm not able to sleep in the night, I scroll. I have subscribed to some channels which only show good news. But then it also becomes, even doing that, it's very difficult to sleep. When say Donald Trump tweets that I'm going to annihilate an old civilization tonight, or Marco Rubio says that we are going back to old ways and we are going to bring back the empire, or we read about hate crimes like mob lynchings, and war crimes. So how do we deal with that?
आपके ना खुश होने से क्या समाधान है क्या? You are feeling sensitive and not happy with things that happening. Are you able to stop it? That's why I cited this verse from Shantideva. If it is something you can change, don't worry, because you can change it. If it is something you can't change it, no use worrying. And then some of these people, they हिंदी में बोलता है ना, भगते रहता है, कुछ मतलब नहीं इनका, आज ये बोलेगा कल वो बोलेगा, कुछ मतलब नहीं है. इसमें क्यों? Why you waste your time? Don't waste your time. ठीक है ना? जहाँ तुम रह रहे हो वहाँ तो अभी भूचाल नहीं आ रहा है ना, वहाँ तो लड़ाई नहीं हो रहा है ना, ठीक है ना? So don't pay too much attention to all these things that come out in the news channels, because these news channels, they are always biased. Some channels speak for this country, some channels speak for that country, some channels speak for this party, some speak for this party. कुछ नहीं है, ये हमारे नेचर में है. हम लोग गाय भैंस की तरह है. गाय भैंस भी अपना जो बच्चा होता है या उनका रिश्तेदार होता है उनके साथ जाता है, दूसरों के साथ नहीं. हम लोग भी वही कर रहे हैं, ज़्यादा क्या फ़र्क है? Right? So what I'm saying is, as I said earlier, if through certain kind of thinking, if you are contributing to the solution, then it's worthwhile not to get silly and think about it. But if it is not contributing anything to the solution, then अपने आप को torture करके क्या करेंगे आप? जैसे मैंने कल बताया था, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's example. The Chinese did so many horrendous things. But response to this is His Holiness does whatever he can do, he does it. After that, खराटे मर के नींद में सो जाता है. Then his health is good, his study is good, his knowledge is good, his practice is good. Contrarily, if he get like pays too much attention, whatever the Chinese say, then get worried, नींद में नहीं आ रहा, and deteriorate his health. Then विपरीत हुआ ना, फिर तो समाधान नहीं हुआ ना, वो नहीं करना चाहिए.
Geshe, I just had one question also in relation to what you just answered. By not engaging with news around, do we also not risk becoming desensitized to it and kind of also normalizing such happenings around us?
Yeah, possible. But the thing, what I'm saying is, whether it's listening to news or whether it's your associating with other people, आपका अपना स्टैंड होना चाहिए, आपका अपना दिमाग इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए. That's the problem. The problem is we don't use our brain. Just like these people, you also have a similar brain. You also have the capacity to judge. And कुछ हद तक आपको भी पता चलता है नहीं क्या बोल रहे हैं, झूठ बोल रहे हैं कि सही बोल रहे हैं, देश के हित में है कि नहीं, आपको पता है ना. कोई लोग बोलते हैं देश के हित में है, लेकिन हित में नहीं है, आपको पता है. Therefore you don't have to follow those stupid propagandas. हमेशा किसी भी you go with anybody, listen to anybody, आपका वो स्टैंड होना चाहिए अपना. स्टैंड मतलब इग्नोरेंट स्टैंड नहीं, हाँ, knowledgeable stand, वो होना चाहिए आपको. नहीं तो फिर हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, Gube khalatena nguto, gube khalatena goto. There's a Tibetan, saying which says, if you don't have your personal integrity in stand, then when you see somebody crying, you feel like crying. When you see somebody laughing, you feel like laughing. अपना कुछ नहीं है. उसको बोलता है लुम्बु चुना खटी. अगली बार तुम आएगा ना, हम तिब्बती सिखाएगा आपको. लुम्बु चुना खटी मतलब जो stupid people होते हैं, वो पानी की तरह होता है. पानी यहाँ है, फिर हम ऐसे खींचेगा उधर आ जाएगा, ऐसे खींचेगा वहाँ आ जाएगा. उसको बोलते हैं stupid, foolish people. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. अपना सोच विचार होना चाहिए, तभी देश आगे बढ़ेगा. तो आंख मुंद करके बोलते हैं मैं इस पार्टी में है, वो पार्टी गलत कर रहे, फिर भी हाँ बोल रहे, फिर कहाँ होगा, है ना.
I'm a little bit confused. I didn't understand exactly जो आप बोल रहे हैं. अभी you said that दुखी होने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. So like overarchingly any emotion like sadness, greed, any emotion जिससे जो है, you think that all emotions should be productive and we should only feel emotions that lead to a positive outcome? Or is it like as human beings we should let ourselves feel our feelings, and if we don't, then it will make us also less
Yeah.
sensitive, less compassionate.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky.
Tricky, very tricky. एक तो we have this way of thinking and living that we inherited right from the time when we were animals. ठीक है ना? एक तो हमारे पास वो है जब हम जानवर था, शुरू में हम लोग जानवर था, उधर से inherited brain, emotion सब हमारे पास है. So one way is to go like that. The animal emotion, feel very sad and feel very angry, feel very hatred. And scientists also say that these are natural, there's nothing positive, negative. हाँ, चलता रहेगा. There is a book called Why Buddhism is True. Read that book. So there he says, yes, this is one way that we are born and brought up in like animals. So we have these emotions and we run for these temporary pleasures. And as I mentioned earlier, your brain is wired just for immediate pleasures. That's the animal way. So the question is, shall we continue to live like that animal way, or is there a possibility to bring about bigger transformation, positive transformation? And then he says, yes, it is possible. So that's what we are talking about. If you really live like an animal and feel sad for not only 1 month, for days, I have seen some people who, every time I meet them, they retell the same story of the accident they had 20 years back. हमेशा फिर दुखी होता है, ऐसे हुआ ऐसे. क्या फायदा फिर? फायदा है क्या? कुछ फायदा नहीं है. So therefore we are saying, get up and go. Get up and go. It is possible. It is possible. Many of this, that's why now we are talking about, even in the scientific realm, we are talking about emotional regulation. Regulate कर सकता है आप इसको. ठीक है ना? So that's why we are even saying that much of your suffering is unnecessary suffering. Unnecessary suffering means if you had a little bit more awakening, more awareness, more knowledge, you don't have to suffer, but you don't have that knowledge, you don't have that awareness, so you are suffering. ज़्यादातर हमारा दुख है, दर्द है, वो अविद्या से हुआ है, ignorance. उसको ignorance थोड़ा आप कम करेंगे तो बहुत सारा ये दुख दर्द है आप समाप्त कर सकते हैं. ये आपके हाथ में है. जैसे मैंने कोटेशन साइट किया था ना आपको, कोई हमारा हाथ पकड़ के स्वर्ग में फेंकने वाला नहीं है, कोई हमारा पाँव पकड़ के नरक में फेंकने वाला नहीं है. मेरा दुख, मेरा सुख मेरे हाथ में है. चॉइस इज योर्स. उसको प्रयत्न करके देख लो. तो अब ये दुखी रहेगी, रोगी, आपको फायदा होगा तो ठीक है, फिर अब रोते रहिए. फायदा नहीं, इसलिए सब लोग बिल्कुल रोते, हमेशा रो के नहीं बैठता है वो लोग. Even those people who have really suffered much, have lot of problem, not able to get a good sleep, lot of problem. But next day they wash their face, wear nice clothes as if nothing has happened, and then go to work. इसके पास कितना दुख है, कितना दर्द है, किसी को पता नहीं. बेचारा वो सफ़र कर रहा है, लेकिन सफ़र करके ऐसे बैठने से, रो के बैठने से काम नहीं होता. इसलिए वो दुनियादारी करना पड़ता है, बाहर जाके दिखाना पड़ता है कि मैं ठीक है ना. So therefore the solution is not just thinking about the negative, unpleasant things, but think more about the positive side, the things that you can do.
Last question.
सिमसंग यहाँ कल अपने लास्ट क्वेश्चन बोल करके हम लोग समय से पहले ख़त्म कर दिया था. मुझे डांट मुझे को मिला था. अभी है समय. तुझे कमानी से या ओके. अच्छा ओके.
Hello, Kishila. I feel a little unsettled right now. तो मुझे लग रहा है मेरा क्वेश्चन शायद उतने आर्टिकुलेट तरीके से ना निकले. मेरा क्वेश्चन अमोगो के क्वेश्चन से सिमिलर है. मुझे लगता है कि मेरे पास एग्जांपल्स है ऑफ लाइक व्हेन पीपल हैव फेल्ट अनसेटल्ड, दे हैव ब्रॉट लाइक they have started movements which in turn have led me to like have a life with little more equality than what they used to have. मेरे पास example है जैसे even Mahatma Gandhi, when you said like for him to be heard by the system and authority, he had to do a lot of ऐसे अन्ना हजारे सभी को आमरण अनशन करना पड़ा था. They had to like ऐसे long time के लिए hungry रहना पड़ा था. Now we are in a situation where I feel like His Holiness he is heard because he occupies a certain position जहाँ पे he's like people listen to him. For common people like nobody listens to you. So then and when you're living with injustice and you want like the authority to hear you, you have to like it becomes natural for rage and for ऐसे destructive emotions which you say वो आ जाना बहुत natural है. And उस हिसाब से for common people I cannot see a pathway for them to be peacefully heard, which is why so many like ऐसे self immolations and a lot of ऐसे protests are happening. And for me I again like see कि protest से ही तो like change आ रहा है. I have more examples of that. तो मेरा वो था कि like when you're saying that I should know about what is happening and still be able to sleep, and like then some way take action. I'm not able to see any other way to take action. So if you can help me, I don't know if I made my question clear.
No, it's very clear. Yes, I understand. It is easier to say than do. बोलने में आसान है, करने में मुश्किल है. Especially if you're such a difficult situation. Understandable. I don't experience that difficult situation right now, so it's easier for me to say. But still, even in my case, I have to be careful what I say. है ना? So I understand this. So therefore, what I'm saying is, do the best you can do under the given circumstance. Do the best that you can do. Do the best means it may be changing the job, it may be joining a popular movement, making demonstrations, it may many things, but not violence, not anger. That anger will give you some extra energy, but that energy is blind energy. बाद में आप खुद फंस जाओगे, right? So therefore, without getting angry, it's as I said, it's not easy, but you should try your best not to get angry, and with understanding, with intelligence, with composure, you should try to do things. And then the solution is not just self-immolation or committing suicide. It's not the solution, really. That's why it's very difficult to make a comment on the people who did self-immolation. I can't say this is wrong, because they have sacrificed their life. I also can't say it's good, because at the end of the day, it's better you live long and do things rather than making an end to yourself, right? So इसलिए read this book, which is called Say Yes to Life. Have you read that book? The Meaning of Life. There are two books written by this gentleman who was in the concentration camp so many years. His relatives, parents, everybody was killed in front of him. But he never gave up. Then he wrote this book, Say Yes to Life. And Meaning of Life. Viktor Frankl is his name. Yeah, read that book. Very encouraging. It's not just giving an empty teaching. He lived this life. And then like also the story of Nelson Mandela, who was imprisoned in the Robben Island for more than 20 years. But when he came out, still like full of love, full of compassion. I had tea with him when I visited Africa. Very nice gentleman. Right? Like that. Okay? Thank you.
Hello. So we have come to the end of today's session, and of course, like on behalf of His Holiness Foundation, I would like to thank Geshe Lhakdor for sharing your valuable advice and insights with us, and your words of wisdom drawn from your vast experience and deep understanding have given us so much to reflect upon and learn from. We are truly grateful for your guidance and encouragement. So we have a few fellows who want to share their reflections and just want to convey their sincere thanks. So who'll go first? Yes.
Geshe, I think when I speak, speak on behalf of the entire Gurukul cohort that it's been an absolute honor to listen to you, be in your presence, and you've been so patient with our questions. And obviously, your sense of humor just made the whole learning process so much more joyful. I hope all of us are carrying back so much to learn from, reflect, and imbibe, incorporate in our lives. And we hope to learn from you, come again sometime soon. So thank you so much.
Tashila like Reshla. So I'm the youngest member of this cohort, not her actually. So I speak for myself more than the cohort since I have never been a part of these things. So this was a very informative and a very transformative experience for me. I absolutely loved when you said that happiness and sadness is in our own hands. That is one of the main teachings of Bodhisattva, that we can do whatever we want if we just put our mind to it. We don't have to think about more. And I think Anashwara also put it in a very happy way, in a very good way, that your sense of humor really lightened up our mood and really made the whole experience very enjoyable. And if I get the chance, I would love to use it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear Geshe, I'm Nishant, and I am going to share my experience throughout this 3 days long session. Earlier I had notion that Buddhism talks about the non-violence, love, compassion, but you taught me the lesson that we are also the fighters, not fighting outside but fighting within ourselves. We are fighting towards our envy, anger, jealousy, and many others, the negative propensity. I really thank you for giving this kind of insight. And the second thing, that you gave the great emphasis upon that we all are equal, we are the unique creation of this existence, and we can all attend the Bodhisattva and the Buddha stage. That really gave me a very, very, very strong insight to me that I am not inferior to anyone. So thank you very much.
Tashidilem Geshela. So the last 3 days have been days of introspection for me. I believe that after going back from here, the first thing I will do is ask for forgiveness. Because I know that intentionally if I do something wrong, I will apologize and I will repent. But unintentionally when I tend to do things, I think I just validate them on my own and I just suppress that I'm right. So that is the lesson I have learned. Being a Gen Z, I feel I often go through the fear of missing out. So when my fellows were asking questions, I felt that maybe I should also ask something. But as I come towards the end of this lecture, I realized that I'm left with no doubts. All my doubts are cleared with every example, every experience, and every sentence that you have told us. So, thank you.
Thank you. I got something like this last time also. So I'll make a book out of all this. Oh, very good printing. Okay, okay. थैंक यू। सदा खुश रहो, सदा खुश रहो। इसमें क्या एक मूवी है क्या, सदा खुश, कुछ गाना है कुछ? सदा